Okay, so I was unable to find any installation for a Warren winch mini rocker or control, and as you can see, the one that we originally had went out. We've now clipped that, taken it off, and getting ready to put the new one in. What you'll need to do is you'll need to get a new one, which we got right here on the floor. We got a new one. There's a couple different things that you need to find in order to do it. First one is the power source, and the power source, if you look right here, it's coming in right here, and it actually hooks up under here, right there, to the ignition line. So as soon as you turn on the power, then it gives power to here, and that's that line that comes out right here. You'll see on your new part that there's also a red line that comes out, and that red line will be connected to the red line that is up there, and that's what gives it the power when you switch the key on, which turns on your full winch system and allows you to use it. We did have it originally mounted right here. We're going to go ahead and mount it back there once we're done. The one that it came, the new one that it came with, we actually had to change. You can see where it screws in. We want it this way, so that the in and out and the picture of the in and out is on the bottom. When it comes, these are actually the screws that screw it into the plate that's there, actually come reversed, so you just need to undo them and put them back in the opposite direction. Once you put it back in the opposite direction, then it will easily mount to a prior mount that you had. You just put the little screws in and you're good to go. One thing that I found out on this one is back up in here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it was wrapped around another wire, and so feeding it through is going to be a little bit difficult because there's not that much space between those two wires. Right here is where I clipped the old one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this with electrical tape, and I'm going to connect it to the end right here that goes to the contactor, and we will go ahead and fish it through, pull it through. It goes down into here. You can see the cord that I unrolled. It was zip tied here. Unrolled it, it comes up under here, goes underneath here, and comes out right here, and you can see that line right there. And here's the old connectors. If you look right here, you can see the connectors that come from the contactor, and so we'll go ahead and install it in the same place, pull the wires through here like it was originally done. For some reason the winch controls went out. I don't know if it was just dust and stuff like that. Sprayed it out with canned air, did everything to clean it, and it still is shorting out and causing problems, which doesn't help when you got a winch that's hooked up to a plow and it's snowing and it goes off and on. So we'll go ahead and get this taped up to the new one so that we can go ahead and pull that through. What I did, instead of reconnecting this blue splitter right here off of the ignition line, I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to connect this line right here directly to the red line on the new one. I'm not going to go ahead and cut any of these up here just because I don't have as much wire, and so if I cut any of these, I'm going to be really short on wire, and it's going to be harder to be able to go ahead and connect to those. So if I go off of the wire that was originally connected to it, it's a little bit longer, as you can see, and so I can go ahead and get a connector on there. I did buy a connector that has the heat shrink wrap built into it, wrapped around it, and so once we get this connected up, we'll go ahead and heat shrink it. Then that way that will eliminate any dust or anything like that from getting into it. We'll also, and I'm debating on whether to or not, but we will also possibly go ahead and wrap that with electrical tape right here, just because it is not well covered, and that can cause problems as well in shorts with it. We know it was the switch that was bad on it, and so after troubleshooting the winch, power to the winch, power to your contactor, which the contactor on this one is right here, which you've got your yellow and blue lines going in, and then you got your negative and positive batteries going in. You want to make sure that you go ahead and disconnect the battery before you start messing with it, just so that there isn't any problems, you don't fry anything, you don't shock anything, or anything like that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this taped off right here to the new one. The easiest way to get it to go through is by doing that instead of trying to fish it through here. I don't want to have to take off all this panel on it. It's just going to be a bigger pain in the butt than it needs to be. So if you can actually pull the new wire through with the old wire by just wrapping it with electrical tape, make sure you wrap it tight, make sure that it's clean. There's a lot of dust that will accumulate on your old one, so make sure it's nice and clean. Wrap it several times with electrical tape so that you know you got it on there good. Once you've got it on there good, then go ahead and we're going to pull it through, and it will go down through this hole right here and eventually end up, if you can see it, maybe not, let's see, let's turn it right in there. It goes in. It's kind of hard to see, and then it comes out through here. So, and this actually goes from here across in here and then comes out that hole right there. So luckily enough, we don't have to do any drilling or holes or anything like that, and we should be good to go. And you can take off the winch power, the blue and yellow wire if you want, off the contactor, as well as the battery and the negative positive battery feeds. The only thing is that, you know, I was able to go ahead and get to these two wires. There's a green wire and a black wire right here. So with being able to get to them, it didn't make sense to take all these wires off and try and do it that way. So we'll go ahead and start putting it in, and we'll come right back and I'll show you how it's going. Okay, one thing that I neglected to bring up is the tools that you're going to need. You're going to need a set of crimpers. In this case, I've got two sets. This one's my nicer set. You're going to need wire strippers. You need some cutters to cut the zip ties that are currently on there. You will need some zip ties in order to zip tie all this extra cord up. The other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a couple screwdrivers. You're going to have to pop off the panels. You can see I popped off the panel right there. Obviously remove the seat, popped off the panel on there so that I could get easier access into there. And then disconnect the winch line. But those are the tools that you're going to need. A majority of the stuff, this is what I actually purchased right here. It's the Warren Mini Rocker switch, and it comes with all the hardware and everything like that. So we'll be right back. Alright, so we're back. We have hooked the battery back up, as you can see. We have hooked the wires in for the controls to the contactor, into the black and green wires. Just plugged them into there. Ran it underneath this right here and came back down into there. Right now you can see that I've got the wires that are coming out right here that I need to zip tie and pull tighter, as well as the wires up here. Here's where I connected it to the red power wire that goes to your ignition so that it comes on when you turn on. I went ahead and shrink wrapped it twice just to make sure that I got a good seal on it. Used a shrink wrap connector, as well as just a shrink wrap cover, and went ahead and shrink that with the heat gun. I've gone ahead and installed this on here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start it up, and we're going to make sure that it works before we do the final zip tying and everything like that, and putting all the wires and panels and everything like that back on. So we'll go ahead and turn this to on, and there it goes. No more problems, no more having to mess with it to get it to work in order to plow my driveway. Anyways, that is how you install it. I think you pretty much understand how to pull it tight and how to zip tie it, so I'll go ahead and end it now. But as you can see, it works and looks good. And once everything's buttoned back up, you won't even be able to see any of the wires. Anyways, this is my installation instructions on the ATV mini rocker worn winch switch, and hope that somebody else watches it and is able to get something out of it. Peace out.